you could change any choice you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of the Inspired Choices Show, business optimization expert, Christine McIver.
Welcome, 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 everyone. I'm really thrilled for tonight. We've got another amazing guest. I have none other than Michael Fabber with me tonight. I'm so thrilled to have you, Michael, have you in the house, have you up in Inspired Choices Network, because I know you've never been here, so this is so exciting. So welcome, everybody. Tonight we're going to be talking about business straight up. So if this is the first time you're coming here, let me tell you a little bit about me, and then I'm going to give you the formal on Michael. So I am a business optimization expert and a global authority expert. I love working with business owners to really elevate their visibility, to bring them more pleasure and ease and fun in their business. Because if you're doing business and you're not having fun, there is a problem. So I absolutely love doing that with my clients. I love to really show them how it can be easy, how systems can actually be an asset, and how you get to play when you have the structure built around you. I also work with individuals to bring their voices to the world. As you know, I'm the CEO of the Inspired Choices Network, and we bring you to be a global authority in less than 30 days. You're a global authority because you are everywhere. We will be able to find you anywhere on the internet. So that's all about me. If you'd like to learn more, you can contact me, Christine, at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, or you can find me on any social media platform. I'm everywhere, baby. Now, Michael Fabber tonight is in the house. Now, this is what we wrote up about the show. Stop playing games. Stop hoping and wishing things can. Let me try that again. Stop hoping and wishing things can be different in your business. Step up, show up, and create the business you're meant to have. It's time to hear it straight up. Michael Fabber is a straight shooter who holds nothing back, which is part of why I absolutely adore him, and delivers the goods that will and does propel entrepreneurs to business success. So Michael Fabber is the business brain behind the beard. That's a good one, Michael. Did you come up with that?
No.
One of the most sought after business strategists and founder of UnleashU Now, Michael Fabber is the business coach for those that want to make the world a better place, live the life they desire, and create the legacy that will impact forever. He has guided the majority of leaders with the most transformational and positive communities and impact across the globe. He is well known for creating 6+ figures in courses, events, masterminds, memberships, retreats, books, even a deck of cards. I got to get those deck of cards. Michael Fabber's life purpose is to end suicide and self-injurious behavior, and he works hard every day to make sure that becomes a reality. He does this through several businesses he owns and all the clients he serves. Wow, that's an awesome bio. That is totally awesome.
That's a lot. I feel like we need to make that shorter. Clearly, I didn't write it, but thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, it gives a really good picture of who you are. And well, Michael and I met in May. That was the first time we actually met. I knew of you a little bit before then, but we met, and our very good friend introduced us. Oh my God, her name just completely blanked from my head. Oh my God, isn't that funny when that happens?
I probably didn't like him anyway.
You're crazy. Our very dear friend and Margie Dunkey J.
Oh no, I love her. So never mind.
Yeah. That was my bad. But Margie introduced us, and she just said to me, Christine, you've got to meet Michael. And so I see this dude across the room, and he's got this hat on backwards like he does today, and he's got this long beard. And I'm not opposed to long beards, as I said earlier. He looks very much like my son, and even with the red. And I'm like, well, this is interesting. And I met him, and right from the get-go, it was like, wow, what a very generous soul. I mean, that was the first thing that kind of came to me, Michael, about you, is that you're a very generous soul. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but that's what popped for me. So, Michael, let's start at the beginning. Can you give our listeners kind of the who you are and how you got to where you are? What your journey's been like to become the Michael Fabber we have today?
Phew, only we got that kind of time. Um, I'm just a classic screw up, really. I would say I did everything wrong. So if I could be here doing it, you could be here doing whatever you want to be doing. I was a troublemaker when I was young. I was in and out of juvie, in and out of jail until I was 20 years old. At 20 years old, I found out I was going to be a dad. It was a crazy week. I was facing like 20 plus years and I beat the case. And then I got shot at and then I found out I was going to be a dad. So I kind of moved, right? And I did what anyone would do. I moved to Delaware, except for who the heck gets in trouble in Delaware. Most people don't know it's a state. But it was the first one just to set that record clear. So I moved to Delaware and opened a restaurant and bar at 21.
Wait a second. In 1 year, you did all of that?
Yeah, I did all that actually in shorter than a year. It was like that week I found out, and then like a couple months later I was in Delaware, and then a couple months after that we were open and running.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't really. So I was raised. We were raised as men. We weren't hurt. We were mad. All right,
Mm,
like so we were angry, and my brother passed away when I was young. I was 10 years old. My brother passed away. He's one of the 22 that served the country that took his own life here in the States. He became that stat, and I didn't know how to handle it. I was young. I didn't know how to talk to about it or how to address it really. So I just bottled it up, and I was just mad. And then anything that ever happened after that, I lost a friend in high school. I dared to steal a car. He did. He got in an accident and passed away in the accident. That's when I knew guilt and pain. I just kept stuffing things down. Never really dealt with them.
yeah.
I lost my pops. We had a rocky relationship. Lost my pops when I was 18. So just more guilt and more pain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that really did a number on me for a while. And it wasn't until like 2011 that it all came crumbling down, kind of like my life, kind of. I always said like my life was like this fake glass jar that I had to protect in order for people to believe I was something, and everything I did was for people to believe I was it. Right? I had businesses, so I had a lot of material things. I had big houses, I had cars. Right? I always say a joke to make fun of me. I had a white Cadillac Escalade. We called it Cane because we were very mature. And it had 22-inch spinners, which is a type of rim. Had six
Yeah.
12-inch subwoofers in the back. It was all tinted out. Really looked like a good guy driving it. It was horrible sounding too. It was like rattling down the road because of all the bass. And I wore like matching velour suits every day with a matching Kango hat and matching Timberlands every day. And I didn't have a friend good enough to tell me I looked ridiculous. But I was in my yard hitting fake golf balls, and I got a call from my buddy who said he had a fight with his wife, and I was like, "Go home, like talk it out, see what happens. Welcome to marriage." Right?
Yeah.
And found out 2 days later that he took his own life.
Ugh.
He was one of our best friends in our group, and that one I could. It was like everything erupted when that happened. It was like I couldn't hold anything that I just never dealt with in, and it all just came out. Got me like pills and booze and
And how old are
tried.
you at this point? How old are you at this point?
Man, you're making my age here. It was 2011, so 13 years ago. That'd make me like 29.
Okay, so you'd started your business, you'd been doing
Oh, I had
business and
multiple
everything.
businesses. Yeah.
You had multiple at this point, and then
Yes,
everything
ma'am.
imploded. Everything
Right.
imploded.
Yeah, I was a maniac. So I tried to kill myself in Lewis Beach, Delaware. I tried to shoot myself. Gun wouldn't go off. It wouldn't shoot. Uh,
Thank God.
yeah, right. Yeah, now. At the time, I was like, man, I can't even do this. Right. What a screw up. And I like hitchhiked across America kind of thing to find myself because I was out there. And that kind of gave me the idea for purpose and legacy.
Right?
And I didn't really have one at the time.
Okay.
And I wanted to find it because I wanted to create a legacy that was more in a bank account or
Yeah.
materials. Because at
Right.
the end, no one cares unless you give it to them. Right.
Yeah.
So that set me down the road for UnleashU now. Originally was CMF, but it's about my ultimate goal now is to end suicide and selfish behavior. That's my ultimate goal. Like it said in the bio. Um, how we do that, I can't do that alone. I tried for a while, wasn't really working. I would have to live to like 1,500,000 years old. And if you know anything about me, I'm not the epitome of health, so I doubt I make it. All right. So if there's going to be a first, I doubt I'm it. All right. So I had to figure out how else we could do that. And because I've had such a track record with businesses before, running multiple businesses for 20 plus years now, um, and to have a decent record in doing so of a space that's kind of hard, some say, it was if we could take the people that want to serve people and help people and empower others, if we can help them do that, because typically when people get in business, they're really passionate about what they do, but they're not passionate about business, right? Because they don't know it. They just know what they're really good at. Like I can brew this really good beer.
Most people don't know how to do business, but they know how to, sell that glass because they love that glass or whatever that is.
Right. I can make that glass. Or I can make that candle. Or I can make that clothes. Or I can make that beer, whatever it is. Right. So it was like, all right, what if we help them do that better for the people they serve? And that was a crazy move because it was like my ego had to go away because then it wasn't going to be about me. Right. Yeah. It had to be about them.
So, sorry. So we have some things in common. And this
Look at us.
This is not something that I would really love to have in common. Unfortunately, I come from a really large family. I'm the 9th of 10 kids. And so there's all sorts of kids and grandkids and great grandkids and, in-laws and outlaws and all the rest of it. And unfortunately, we have had 5 suicides in my family.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And the suicides are not related. Like the people don't, it's not the same thing for whatever. But I was 14 when my brother committed suicide. And you stuffed it down. I didn't know what to do with it. You know what? For me, Michael, it was like, I don't even know what this is. I didn't even understand what the hell is suicide. I just looked around and watched everybody grieving and didn't know what to do. Like, didn't know what to do. I became that person who tried to fix everybody. You know what I mean? Like, let me fix your pain. Let me fix whatever is going on. But what is interesting is that what I love what you're saying that you did is that you started to find your purpose for others. So for you, what I'm hearing is it's like therapy for you to work through your grieving to be able to help other people to find joy. Is that right?
Right. It's almost like, I don't know, The 6 Human Needs, really a German psychologist, but then everybody knows it as because Tony Robbins talks about it often, right? Contribution is one of the highest forms of human need, right? It's to contribute. Yeah. I think for like 30 years I was taking, and I think it was time for me to contribute or to figure out how. And now, and I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I'm in a position where I can, right?
Just send them to that. Give them.
It was the we can serve others so they can serve others because they can get to people I can't. I can't brew a good beer, right? Like, I can't do what you do, right? You can only do that way, right? So, it was that it couldn't be about me. It had to be about others so we can reach the ones we need to reach in the time in which we need to reach them in order to have the impact we want to have, which is the ultimate goal.
Right. I just love that. We're up for our first break. We're going to get deeper into this right after the commercial break. Who's ever here, awesome. Thanks for being here. Who's ever watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay. I would love to hear that. We will definitely be having this blasted all over everywhere after the fact, but don't go away. We're here with Michael Fabber. You're listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back after this break.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, we are back with none other than Michael Fabber, who's busily communicating with people, because that's what Michael does. He's always communicating with people. I watch you. So I loved what you said in this first segment. I loved how you laid out what brought you here. For me, Michael, when I learn that about people, the puzzle starts to fit. The puzzle starts to fit, and it really helps me to understand where people are going when I understand where they've come from. That's my brain. That's how my brain likes to have it. This show is about, we titled this show Business Straight Up. One of the things that I love watching you do, especially on Facebook, is just call it like it is. I mean, you are a no bullshit, hold back guy. So you certainly don't bury it anymore, do you?
No. I heard this great quote once. If you know me at all, you're gonna hear me quote Nipsey Hussle like a million times.
Okay.
That was my guy. He said at some point when he was growing up, he had to make a decision, and it was, do you want to be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? For a long time, I picked peace outside and was having war inside. And then finally, some years back, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be at war with myself anymore. I saw what that did to me and to my relationships and the people I love and care about, and the people that love and care about me. So I decided where I'm good with, as long as there's peace within, whatever comes from without is fine. All right. And that's when it kind of came where I was clear. I was going to speak my truth. Now I could be found that it's not true. Right.
Right.
And then I course correct. And I always say my acknowledgement will be louder than my disagreement. But at the same time, I'm not going to shy away from the things I truly believe in and hold dear. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go post about every little Johnny and Tommy trick, and I don't talk about politics because I think it's all BS. But I'm not going to be prolific to be prolific, but I'm going to stand on what I believe that I'll take a stand on and take whatever comes my way. You got to take something off the chin. We're just going to have to take it on the chin.
Yeah. I love that. Like if we're willing to truly be at peace with ourselves and speak what is really in our heart and on our mind without regard for people judging us. It's not that we're going to be unkind, but without people judging us, we show up and we really create the world in such a different way. Something came to me once when I was being interviewed, Michael, in a car, right? And this popped out of my mouth. I didn't have a producer there taking down my quotes or anything, right? And I was like, oh my God, I got to remember this. And I said, until your voice is added to the conversation does not truly begin.
Mm.
And, that kind of speaks to what you're saying, because if you're adding to the conversation, but yours is just the same noise of the last guy, we're not really creating an authentic conversation. We all need to be who we are and show the fuck up, right? Like show up and say it, right? And if you mess up, own it.
Facts. You got to play your part. We all have a role to play the role.
Yeah.
I'm just playing my role. So, and also I don't throw stones at people. I throw stones at tactics, at actions. So when someone says I have a problem with what you said, I'm like, well, you should check. Why are you doing that action? Right? I didn't say your name. You think it's about you. I'm not making it about a person. I'm making it about actions. Right? Awesome. And sometimes none of us live up to the standard in which we set. None of us live up to the standard we set for ourselves all the time. And that's okay. But we set it so we can acknowledge it, see it, and adjust accordingly.
Right. Do you ever receive the daily email from the universe? It's a note from the universe. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Well, I get this every day. So I received them, and they're so timely so often, Michael. And the one I received today, I'm like, oh my God, this is so about this show tonight. So this is what it said. It said, taking massive action on massive dreams amidst massive uncertainties is pretty much where anyone who's ever done anything massive had to start. And then things get way easier. Besides, massive uncertainties are the new normal. And I just thought that just really spoke to what I believed our conversation was going to evolve into, right? Like you have taken some massive steps in your businesses. Mm-hmm. So I would love to know more about your businesses and what you're doing differently that you see people missing the boat on.
Oh, man, missing the boat. A lot of people make their business about them or their product or their program, and it's not. Everything is the end game. What is the result? What's going to happen? What does the person get? Right? Really get, not like I get a book, because no one wants a book. But everyone wants a book that'll change their life, change their business, right? Change their relationships, right? Make them have the most amazing marriage. They want that book because it's not the book. It's the most amazing marriage, right? That's what we really want, right? So we're all like, get this book. And like, no one cares. It's just a book. Or like, do you want to have a business that can 15x its revenue from last year? I wouldn't say 10. That was a little shade. And it's like, well, of course I want to 15x my revenue, right? Even better, 15x my profit. But if we're talking serious numbers, Dr. Rob always says a line, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. Right? And I love that line.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great line. Dr. Rob's a great dude. So to me, I think we focus on a lot of the wrong things. And then we focus on bells and whistles. People spend so much money on websites and logos and funnels and ads. And when they don't even have a message yet to put on any of those things that resonate with their people. Right. It's what are we really focused on? What are we trying to do? Hilarious. In the last 5 years, I've taken so many bets that we've built a 6-figure product without having a website, an email list, a joint venture, any ads, no expenditure. All we could use was one social media channel, and we created 6+ figures. We did it in 35 days. Dude. If you understand who you're speaking to, that's all you're doing. It's because they're going to buy. So they don't care my beard, right? Like they don't care. All right, that's why I went from a guy that was clean shaven, wore a suit, well, thin beard and mustache, to this. I went from wearing a suit every day to wearing this every day. Right? Like no one cares. Right? There's a couple things people care about. They care about themselves, they care about what they want, and they care that the bigger picture, either way, they're helping or connected or serving something. All right. So I'm sure you heard of for-profit businesses.
Yes.
And then nonprofit.
Yes.
All right. And then there's something crazy. The most successful businesses are for purpose. They're movement-based businesses.
Mm.
Name the biggest businesses on earth. They're movement-based. They didn't go after a single product. That's why they can sell so many different products and people will buy them all. Why? It's because the movement they're behind. All right. So every one of our businesses is now for purpose. It's movement-based businesses. That was one of the biggest things that changed. And when we made our businesses completely about the person we serve and nothing to do with us.
That's very cool. That's very cool. How does someone who is already in it or just starting out, how do they find that? Like, what's your suggestion to them? How do they find that purpose?
What matters to them? So first we go by interests. What interests you? What strikes up some feeling? All right. Something that makes your body react. Because like your body knows.
Yeah.
Right. So like when you're doing something that's like, you're like, yes. Like, you're like, your body's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. When you meet someone that you're like, dude, I want to know them more. Like, I want to be around them. Your body's like, let's go. Like the energy is just there, right? The frequencies match up.
Yeah. That's
so, right. So follow that. That will take you where you need to go to see. And then you'll figure out if you really want to dive deeper and how deeper you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for business wise, your purpose can make sense for the business. That's why I would say, like, my goal is to end suicide and self-abuse behavior. UnleashU Now goal is to help empowering entrepreneurs serve more people to change the world. So really, we're trying to raise the energy level closer to love. Because if they're doing that, then they're less likely to hurt themselves or anybody else.
Absolutely. 100%.
Right. So our landscape company and property management company is all about putting recycle bins in parks, and parks can then recycle and get the money for it to keep parks up to date. Right. Our food trucks and catering company, for every meal served, one goes to someone that can't afford one. Brilliant. Right. It's like our mental health is for every client we have. Well, actually, now it's even different now. Now it's everyone can get a free mental health eval. All right. So no insurance or anything. Just come in. We give you a mental health eval. All right. So you can see what's happening and at least get to know if you want to get to help or not. All right. So it's like everything we do is for purpose, for something that makes sense towards that area and to give back to a group or person or a section that needs it or that we feel that attention should be on it.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. It's so funny when you talk about the body. Like, I mean, I talk about the body and how it communicates with us all the time. And I've told this story many times, but you've never heard this. But when I started my business, it was a couple years in, I got a phone call and I had done a vision board workshop. And I had my vision board on my wall, which is always like on the other side of my computer, right? And I got this phone call and they said, have you ever thought about having a radio show? And up in the top right-hand corner of this vision board, I had written Blog Talk Radio, but I really had no idea what this was. Like, this is back in 2010, right? I didn't know what the hell that really, really was, what it meant. And as they asked that question, my entire body shook. Like, it has never shook like that before, Michael. It was wild. I'm like, oh my God, I have to pay attention. And this is pre-understanding body communication. Like, this was wild. And I'm like, I need to listen here. Like, I need to, like, what the hell is this? Right. And this is 2010. And here now, you know, this is my business and I love what I do. And I love bringing voices to the world. And I love elevating people so that they can get out there and bring their messages and support other people. So it's so cool that you've said that. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what that is. Oh my gosh, we got so much we can talk about. I absolutely love the suggestions that you're bringing to the table. This is fantastic, but it's time for another break. So if you're listening, you can jump into our chat room, inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room. You can be asking us questions, making comments, or wherever you're listening, you can be making comments and we will get to you as well. So stick around. I got Michael Fabber. We're talking about, and we're going to get a little deeper into this, business straight up. And you are listening to Inspired Choices on the Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Christine McIver. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Okay, we've been planning this for a few weeks to get Michael on here, and we're already half done. Like, this goes way too fast. It goes way, way, way too fast. Oh my God, this is so funny. So, Michael, when I really tap into you, and I've been watching you on Facebook and the posts that you put up, which I absolutely love, and I feel like I miss half of them, but like the words that came to me was business straight up. Like, you just don't play. I mean, you play, but you don't play. You know what I'm saying, right? So,
Right.
there was something you said today. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was like you hold back, like, oh, it was the frog thing where Spirit was holding the frog's mouth, right?
Yeah.
To explain what that was.
Like, this is the season. I think it starts earlier and earlier, but this is where everyone's an expert all the time. I always love that. It's an expert world, and when it's political season, everybody's a political expert,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I swear sometimes we get baited, right? And this morning I said the Holy Spirit wouldn't let me take the bait. It was like I saw it and started writing out. I was like, you know what? No point. No point. Just let it go.
So
this isn't
funny.
your fight. You're not
That's
a political
so funny.
fighter.
I did the same thing on TikTok today. I started typing and I went, nope.
Yeah.
I just moved on. So,
All right.
what are the things that do propel you to be straight up?
Business practices, ethics, things of that nature. That kind of I think there needs to be something said to that. Human existence, right? And like just like rights in general, just decency. Also, I'm the kind, you can say anything you want towards me. I'll probably laugh with you, right? Like, we'll probably get a good laugh out of it. Right? I know me pretty well. So if it's accurate, I'll laugh about it. If it's not accurate, I'll laugh about it because it's not accurate, right? But a good way to get me to pay attention and be all in is start taking targets at my people.
Ooh.
Right? That's a good way for me to get my energy. You got my focus, because what I'm going to do is going to get you back to put me in your target. Because again, then I said I don't care then, right? But it's going to get them out of it. I think we stand for our people and what we truly believe for. But I don't think. Here's my take. I'm not going to stand for everything. Everything's not for me to stand on.
Right.
One, if you stand for anything, you fall for everything.
Right.
I'm going to make the stands on the things I'm willing to bleed for.
Okay.
And I feel like if we're all willing to take a stand on the things we're willing to bleed for, we would have a lot of less dumb arguments and pointless fights, and have real conversation and real dialogue for real progress. Because that's what it should be for. So
some of the things that you're calling people out on Facebook, like you
What?
call
Me
people
never.
out every damn day. I'm like,
I hope.
oh my God, I missed whatever that was. So how does that relate to really holding people accountable to show up, to stand up and really be direct in business, because that's who you are.
I try
You
to
are
be.
direct.
I'm going to ask you a question, right? How important are your clients to you?
Vital.
All right. Exactly. They're important. I bet your clients, a lot of them are like family to you. Like you
Yeah,
fight
they
really
are.
hard. Yeah, you fight really way above pay grade. I bet the value you give is way above the pay received. You seem like that kind of person, or I would really wouldn't be talking to you. So, all right. When we see them being screwed over, right? That infuriates you, right?
Yeah.
Believe me, I know. I'll tell you a story about how I was trying to get this guy to pay attention to me for years. I was posting biblical verses for years, me, all right? Because he was big into the Bible. And then
Okay.
he never liked a single one of them. And then I went crazy ham sandwich on a Facebook Live, cursed like crazy because someone screwed over some people in our community, and I was letting them know that now I was involved, right? And I
Right.
wanted them to know that how I felt, right?
Right.
And it was crazy. After I did that, the message I got was, "You dropped the F word more in one sentence than I have dropped in my entire life." And I loved it. He's like, "I love seeing anyone that'll fight for his people. You're my kind of guy. And let me tell you, I bought a ticket to your next event already when you were doing it. So I'll see you then. I can't wait to meet you." And I was trying for 2 years posting biblical verses. And this guy did it for me cursing.
So you were trying to lick his bootstraps where he was at instead of being you.
Right. Facts. 100%. Now, why we do this is because people already question and doubt the space, especially now too, with money getting tighter, economic unrest, political unrest. All right. Like there's so many things that are making people nervous.
Yes.
All right. So people are more and more hesitant to spend. If you're doing something dicey in this space, you're going to make it where someone backs out without getting the help they need. And that means they're going to suffer longer and we're not going to be able to serve.
Yeah.
So it's when I call it the space, is because what is our focus on? Someone once said, "Man, they're just trying to make $1." I said, "I hope they try to make it in a better way next time." All right. My focus is on the people that are giving the money, not the people getting it. Right? Like,
Right.
let's deliver for the people, because then the space will be trustworthy.
Right.
And people will feel comfortable being in it.
Yeah.
But if people are getting screwed over, they won't be comfortable.
Yeah, it's so true. Like I remember I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago, right? And she told me all this money that she had invested in coaching, and what she ended up getting was like next to nothing. And I was just like, I don't understand. I truly do not understand how people, how do they save face? Like, how do you like look at that person again? How do you show up when you charge thousands and thousands of dollars and you don't deliver? I mean, it drives me insane when I hear this. And then what happens is when they come to me and I'm saying, "Hey, this is what I deliver, this is what we deliver," they don't believe me.
Right. Exactly.
They don't believe me, and I'm not charging them. I'm not taking their firstborn. I actually don't want any more children.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But I'm not taking this huge chunk of cash from them. I am delivering what I feel is outstanding value for what I charge, but people don't trust it anymore.
Facts.
Like, that is so frustrating to me.
Right. And it's because, one, people been in the space BSing and not delivering, and then people allowed it.
Yeah.
So one, I'm going to deliver. I'm going to make sure of it. Two, I'm not going to allow it. Right. Because then at least at the end, I can say I said it. Right. Like I stood. Right. So
Right.
I didn't let you get screwed up. I didn't tell you go that way. If you asked anything or spoke out, I would have been able to tell you. Plus, if you just listened, you don't even have to ask me anything. You're going to see it on my wall. Like I'm posting it. I'm talking about it at events. Right. And it's crazy. The stories I'm sure you hear and I hear about different people in the spaces. And sometimes you don't even know it or see it. The Moonmaker Live is like our yearly conference style event.
Right.
We have other events, but that's our conference style. At the event, I had 6 people from one group come up to me and tell me like they're 6 figures in debt. They've made $1,000 to $2,000 in 2 years. And first of all, I was like, in 2 years? Like, how are you
How
here?
are you surviving?
Right? Like, what's going on? Right? And I was floored because the cover, right? So what happens is that's happening, and the people it's happening to, they don't want to be seen as someone that's not doing well, so they don't say anything,
No,
right? So everybody keeps their mouth shut, and that just keeps happening.
Yeah.
Right. And I won't let that. Now, again, I'm not going to attack a person, right? I mean, I won't say I won't, but I'm not going to do it necessarily via Facebook post. But I'm going to attack strategies and tactics that are not serving, so people can pay attention to if that's happening.
Right.
There might be something that you need to check out or ask why.
Yeah. And the scary thing is that when it's happening for an individual, they oftentimes will withdraw because they think that it's them, that they've screwed up, they're not good enough, they're not paying attention. They don't want to admit to anybody, hey, I screwed up, I did this, or I hooked my wagon to this person, and then they took me down a country road and threw me off, right? Like people don't want to admit that, right? Exactly. And then what happens is they go into deep depression. They go into this space of like really thinking they're worthless, and why should they even stick around anymore?
Right. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody has to do the work.
Of course.
Unless you're paying for a done for you service, you got to do some work.
Yeah.
Right. We all got to do our part. I don't take that away. Like everybody's got to be held accountable. Was it clear what you had to do, and did you take the steps that you were told you had to take? As long as you did those parts. I was asked the question. They said, how many chargebacks have you had, for being in business as long as you have been? And I said, none. And they were like, you haven't had a chargeback? I'm like, no. They said, no one ever wanted a refund? I'm like, oh, that's not what you asked. You asked if I had a chargeback. I said, brother, I'm not arguing over money.
Right.
You want a refund? Go ahead. Right? Like, I'll refund you the money. Right? I had one person, you want to hear a story that's funny? It's me being unsuccessful as hell. So COVID happens, right? And my whole life of how I know it changes, right? Like everybody else's. But I was a big selling the room guy, selling the stage guy, be at the event, right? And all of a sudden now there's no events, right? For foreseeable future, we are not in a room together, right? So how I did it, right, was over. So I was like, guys, I want to help. Let me sell. I'll call. I'll do some sales calls, right? Which, one-to-one is different than one-to-many.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I'm starting to sell our business course, right? Our business 101 course.
Right.
I got 116 no's in a row. 116 times. Can you imagine doing the 116 call? Like, come on, what?
No.
Right? The 117th, I got one. I got a yes. Right? I was so excited. It was like late in the evening, like 6 o'clock, 6, 7. Right? I got this yes. I was so excited. I like called everyone from that was around or not even around in the company and was like, I'm going to have a drink, come meet me, right? Like, we're celebrating. I sold like a $497 course. It wasn't even like a big or high ticket course. It was like $497. I was like, I sold that, let's go, right? So I leave and I go celebrate with the team. Here's the hilarious part. The next day we have a message and the team's like, Mike, someone wants a refund from the business course. I'm like, Jesus, I only sold one person. It's probably about me, right? And it's my person. They're like, this course is BS. I've learned all this before. You just copy and pasted Tony Robbins stuff, right? Like, it was great. And I'm like, I'll take care of it. And they're like, all right. And I'm like, give me the number for this person. Right? Okay. So I call them. And I'm like, hey, how are you? This is Michael Fabber. I was the sales rep you talked to last night. I'm also the CEO of the company. So I wanted to call you personally. And I wanted to apologize. But now what you think? I want to apologize because I got so excited that I sold you, I forgot to send you the login. Right? So what I did today to make up for that was I sent you back your money and I sent you the login.
And the login.
Because I feel like anyone in the position to do that, you need it. So I lost the first sale, but I gave them back their money and gave it. But I knew for them to act like that, they were in a position.
Right.
And I was like, I've been in that spot before and I wish someone looked out for me. Right. But my first sale became a no. So I went back to 117.
But most people wouldn't have seen that. Michael, you saw behind it.
Yeah.
You see behind.
I knew you couldn't see the material because I forgot to give you a login because I was too excited. So I
know.
knew you were telling the truth, right? So I was like, oh man, my bad. I was like, I got it. I know what's happening. I'll figure it out.
So
But
you're learning along the way, but I just think there's a bigger picture here. Like, you don't just see the issue, you see what's behind, what's the motivating factor of the individual. That's a big thing.
I try to keep personal out of it. I try to
Yeah.
keep my ego in wrap
Yeah, you must be practicing hard on that one because a lot of people
at
don't.
times. At times. I'm still
Myself
human.
included. There's times where I'm like, I gotta check myself. I'm like McIver. When I'm talking to myself, it's just McIver. It's not the first thing,
Nice.
right? I'm just like, okay, McIver, you need to get your head out of your ass. What are you doing right now? Right?
It's
And then
funny.
it's just like, walk away. Just walk away. And I go talk to myself for a while. I have a good long conversation.
I just bought the site hangoutwithfaber.com
Did
before we
you?
got on here. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was like, I'm going to do something with it. It was
We're good.
available.
That's fabulous. Oh my God. We are up to our last break. This is good and good. I love it. I love it. Guys, do not go away. We're going to continue with Michael right after this break. You're listening to Inspired Choices on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Yes, back to the program with none other than Michael Fabber. This is a fabulous conversation. It's serious, it's funny, it's crazy, it's everywhere. I love it. Michael, I want you to promote what's going on in your business. You provide so much to others. What is it that you would love people to know about and people to hook into you about?
Drew, man, we have so many things going on. We have about 20 plus events a year, so it's a little intense. A lot is booked up. One, wherever you are, we have a virtual. We don't typically do virtual, but I'm nuts, right? And
Yeah, you are nuts because I do virtual.
Nice. I am. Yeah, I really don't do virtual, and I'm gonna do virtual once, but we're gonna do it a little crazy. And I've heard a million times I'm crazy because we're doing it this way, and that's okay. But we're building a virtual arena.
So it's going to be a hybrid, in person and virtual. Okay.
Yep. So we have the pole building already, the building that will be held in. We're doing like 10 by 30 LED wall. Yeah, it's going to be insane. I felt like we were getting to run around a little bit in some places when we were trying to book a studio, an arena. Right. And then when I found out the price to build one, I was like, well, it's pretty much like the price to rent one, right? So I was like, and then we can have it all the time. So we're doing it. We're doing a little crazy. We're going to have like 20, 25 people in person. Again, like 15, 20 speakers.
Right.
some breakout stuff, some workshop stuff, some inspiration stuff, some mindset stuff, all the good stuff. It's virtual. Uh, that's later in the year, I believe November 6th to 8th, right after the elections in the States, because we're like, we're going to need this.
Yeah.
We're going to need this moment, right?
How are the Canadians watching all of this nonsense?
Yeah, I bet it's a popcorn worthy experience over and over.
Yeah. Okay,
Uh,
cool. So
One we're
that's
proud
November.
of. All right, you can get a virtual ticket to that, watch wherever you're at. It'll be something we're going to try to do. My big thing is I want to break everything we do. We want to make it like the Woodstock of.
Yeah, I know.
That's always our thinking is how can we make this Woodstock of? We already have like 5,000 people registered for the virtual wise, and we're at like 15 in person wise. So we're pretty up there already, which is good. It's going to make the second half of the year easier. All right, and our cruise is pretty much full, so that's good. We have our men's and women's retreats in November. They're secretly one of my favorites. We just rent out, so the men's have one, the women's have one. It's not the same. We rent out like a big house or mansion in Florida, typically. We bring in entertainment. We have chefs come in. Literally, all you got to do is get to the door. Everything's taken care of for you.
Oh
Right?
my God.
So it's definitely an experience. People have been there. We have the Island Boys come and play for us. So it's a dope time. And then of course the conference, the Movie Maker Live in Nashville. We're like 2/3 sold out for that.
Yay!
Right. That'll
I
be at
can't
the
wait to be
Gaylord,
there.
one of the most amazing resorts on earth. You can literally take a boat ride inside. They have a 50-foot waterfall in it. They have a botanic garden all inside. Even a water park with a swim up bar.
That's amazing.
I can barely swim, but I will swim up to a bar.
Ditto.
Right? And that we have 20 plus speakers, amazing people. The room is just full of awesome people.
I can't wait.
So that's a big one. That's something special. So those are some of the things that you can definitely come in if you're looking for a community, people with growth minded, like minded, trying to do big things, impact the world, leave a legacy, change your family tree forever. We probably got something for you.
I can't wait. I signed up right away for that March
You
event.
did.
I'm like, I am in.
The first platinum ticket holder.
Damn straight, man. I was just like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
That's the way I am. It's like when I'm ready, I'm going. Right.
All right. Perfect.
So connect with Mike. Michael Fabber on Facebook is Mike.Fabber, Fabber.
Nice.
Or you can email him coachfaber@aol.com, which I didn't think was still around.
You're welcome. I'm trying to be the last one. I think you win something if you're the last one.
Yeah, you do. You get all the spam. You get it all.
I still have a CD-ROM that has 100,000 free hours on it, so I'm all right.
Oh my God. Oh my God, this is amazing. Michael, you bring so much to the space of business. You bring so much to the space of love and purpose and kindness. And I love that you call people out. I love that you call yourself out. And I love how present you are with what's going on in the world. Please don't ever stop being that amazingness. Keep showing the world how to show up, because this is what's going to change the world. This is people showing up and being themselves and owning their shit. You know what? Just own your shit. If you screw up, just own it and let's go forward, right? You're such a gift to the world. I'm so glad that we met in May. Like we haven't even known each other a year yet, Michael. And like,
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Time is just flying so fast. I'd love to have you come back again, maybe after the March event, so we can really gab it up about that. That would be fantastic.
Let's do it, as long as it's good.
Yeah, okay. If it's not going to be good, it will be fantastic, I'm sure. I could ask you 1,000 more questions, but the biggest question I have for you is, what's the one thing that you absolutely know you've succeeded at so far in your life?
Being dad.
Being a dad. That's fantastic.
Being dad. Thank you for letting me be here, by the way. The people that change the world, you're the people that change the world. So thank you for letting me be here. You're doing an amazing job, and you made this smooth as could be for me. It felt so easy. Time flew.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do. It's all about play and having fun. We have 15 seconds left. My friends, thank you so much for being here. Remember, you can always make another choice. Until next week, take good care of yourself. Keep smiling, have some fun, and we will see you again
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.